Training camp hits fans in a way no spreadsheet could ever explain. Under the Santa Clara heat, hope becomes competition, and reputations start giving way to whoever shows up hungrier. This year, one rookie facing little pressure could shake up an unexpected position. A market opportunity is daring John Lynch to be bold. One trade could unleash Alfred Collins, and Mike Evans just got fresh fuel to answer on the field. We're not just running through headlines, we're going to see where this roster can grow and where it needs to fight back. If you live for the red and gold, subscribe to 49ers Express, because this camp is about to demand answers. The first answer could come from a player who arrived at camp without the spotlight, without the pressure to dominate right away, and because of that, with the freedom to create one beautiful problem. Ephesians Prysock, a fourth-round pick, is the rookie who intrigues me the most in this 49ers class. Not because he's ready to be crowned, it's because opportunity, physical traits, and a competition that may be far more open than it looked are all lining up around him. Diamador Lenoir and Upton Stout enter camp firmly established as starters. Beyond those two, though, the conversation changes. Runardo Green should still be considered the favorite to win the outside cornerback job, but Kyle Shanahan didn't exactly talk about him like an untouchable player. San Francisco's moves at the position also created the sense that nobody will inherit that spot. You're going to have to hold on to it on the field. That's exactly where Prysock can change the temperature. He brings length, range, and a physical profile this group doesn't have in abundance. Against tall, powerful receivers who win at the catch point, that type of corner gives the defense a specific answer. And he'll have one incredible test waiting for him in practice: Mike Evans. If Prysock can hold his own in those reps, use his body without losing balance, and close throwing windows other corners can't, the coaches are going to notice. That doesn't mean he's going to beat Evans over and over again. It means every competitive rep will carry extra weight because Prysock can show this staff a different tool. Raheem Morris matters here as well. A coordinator with a defensive back's background isn't going to sign off on a young corner simply because he's tall. He'll demand clean reads, disciplined feet, and the ability to recover when a play breaks down. It's fair to believe Morris saw something worth developing in Prysock, but that still has to show up when the speed rises. This rookie can't survive on measurements alone. He has to turn those physical advantages into dependable technique. And none of this requires tearing Green down just to manufacture hype. He remains ahead, and he'll get every opportunity to answer. But real competition isn't built to confirm an order that was already written. It exists to threaten that order. Jaden Duggar and Romello Height also deserve attention among these rookies, especially if key veterans receive lighter workloads. But Prysock has the most explosive combination: a vulnerable starting spot, a clear physical advantage, and matchups that can accelerate his evaluation. Maybe he leaves camp as no more than a promising young piece. Maybe he forces Santa Clara into a conversation nobody expected to have this soon. For a Day 3 defender, making the favorite start to look over his shoulder would already be one loud introduction. But a team expecting to survive January can't put all its chips on youth. That's the concern when you take a look at the safety room. Malik Mustafa brings contact and aggression. Jair Brown has already felt the weight of meaningful games. Marquis Siegel brings upside. The talent is there. What's still missing is a veteran presence who can stabilize this position when the original plan starts to crack. John Lynch should call Jabrill Peppers. This wouldn't be a signing made to steal headlines or push the young players straight to the bench. Peppers would make sense as an experienced competitor, a versatile defender, and protection against the problems that always surface over a long season. He remains available after playing a rotational role last year, and that could open the door to a short-term deal with a role earned during camp. The fit stands out because Peppers isn't limited to one part of the field. He can play near the line of scrimmage, cover tight ends and running backs, support the run, attack as a blitzer, and contribute on special teams. For Raheem Morris, that would mean changing packages without asking a young safety to take on a responsibility he may still be growing into. There's a massive difference between trusting development and becoming dependent on it. San Francisco can believe in Mustafa, Brown, and Siegler while creating competition around them. Peppers could ease that pressure, provide insurance against injuries, and make the secondary even more physical. If the young players are better, great. They'll have beaten a proven veteran for the job. If Peppers earns a role, this defense adds a ready-made piece without giving up a draft pick. The condition is simple. He must be healthy, motivated, and willing to fight for snaps. Waiting until the first problem hits before looking for help would be far too passive for a roster carrying Super Bowl expectations. Useful veterans don't stay available forever. One safety injury for another contender could make this opportunity disappear. The 49ers don't need to promise Peppers a starring role. They need to find out if he can still deliver stability, controlled violence, and flexibility. Sometimes a championship run gets protected by one quiet phone call. The next story could take on a completely different meaning once camp really gets rolling. A lot of people saw the arrival of Osa Odighizuwa as a brutal message for Alfred Collins. San Francisco sent a 2026 third-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys for an established defensive tackle. To plenty of fans, it sounded like the 49ers had lost faith in the young player. I see another possibility. Collins may have just received the partner who could unlock his entire season. His NFL career began in troubling fashion. There were mistakes, inconsistent stretches, and moments when the impact simply wasn't there. Even after settling in, Collins finished his rookie campaign far below the level expected from the number 43 pick. He recorded 17 tackles, including 1 for loss, 4 quarterback hits, 2 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 2 recoveries, and 1 sack across 16 games. His 42.2 overall grade from Pro Football Focus ranked 123rd among 134 qualified interior defenders. There's no way to sugarcoat that. But you can't judge it in a vacuum either. Collins played nearly 500 snaps while injuries ripped through the 49ers' defensive front. San Francisco lacked bodies, it lacked continuity, and opposing blockers could send more attention toward a young defender still adjusting to the league. Collins showed power against the run and improved as the season moved along, but he carried responsibilities that didn't help his development. Odighizuwa completely changes that equation. He arrives as a proven starter, a high-level interior pass rusher, and a player with outstanding availability. He has missed only 1 game in his career, and that came back in 2021. Offensive lines won't be able to treat him as a background piece. If they slide protection toward his burst and relentless motor, Collins will get cleaner one-on-one opportunities. If they focus extra strength on the young defender, Osa gets room to punish them inside. That's the kind of pick-your-poison problem San Francisco's defense simply couldn't create often enough last season. Matt Barrows named Collins one of his breakout candidates for 2026, and that new partnership was central to the argument. And the logic holds up. Nearly 500 snaps as a rookie, even without consistent production, still gave Collins real experience. He can now operate as a complementary player, not a forced answer to every problem. And Nick Bosa still needs to be added back into this equation. Bosa's return from the torn ACL in his right knee gives this front a player who can distort protection before the ball even gets snapped. With Bosa attacking off the edge and Odighizuwa threatening through the middle, Collins could find lanes that just didn't exist before. The pressure is no longer demanding that he beat 2 problems at the same time. It's asking him to win the matchup right in front of him. None of this wipes away that 42.2 grade. It doesn't guarantee a breakout either. Collins still needs to play with stronger hands, diagnose blocks faster, and turn his size into production. But his circumstances have now shifted from an excuse into a real opportunity. The veteran didn't necessarily arrive here to bury him. He may have arrived to reveal who Alfred Collins really is. Faithful, give me a number from 0 to 10 for your confidence in an Alfred Collins breakout. My number has gone up because this time, he won't have to battle through the trenches alone. And then we get to Mike Evans, where this conversation moves beyond potential and becomes a matter of respect. ESPN polled NFL executives, coaches, and scouts to rank the league's 10 best wide receivers entering 2026. Evans, who ranked 9th a year ago and 8th in 2024, fell to honorable mention. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Puka Nacua, and others finished ahead of him. Fine, the list is supposed to evaluate the player right now, not simply reward a historic career. But leaving Evans outside the top 10 doesn't suddenly make him an ordinary piece. One NFC scout acknowledged the decline while pointing to something that almost sounds contradictory. Evans is still big, still athletic, still able to get open. And somehow he still seems almost immune to time. Last season did give voters legitimate reasons for caution. Hamstring and collarbone injuries limited Evans to 8 games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2025. Availability clearly matters to voters. Age matters. The end of an unbelievable streak matters as well. Before last season, Evans had surpassed 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 11 NFL campaigns. He has produced 13,052 yards and 108 touchdowns since Tampa Bay selected him 7th overall in the 2014 draft. He enters his 13th season as a 6-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion. Trent Williams didn't hesitate when he called Evans a Hall of Fame player. That resume won't automatically create separation against cornerbacks in 2026, but it explains why nobody should treat this signing as shelter for a fading name. The most exciting part is this pairing between Evans and Kyle Shanahan. In Tampa, Evans built a career by punishing defenses on the boundary, winning contested catches, and turning the red zone into his personal territory. In San Francisco, Shanahan can move him around, manipulate matchups, and prevent defenses from settling into one answer. For Brock Purdy, a target with that kind of size offers something valuable: confidence to attack outside the numbers and a proven option when the field tightens near the end zone. Evans doesn't need to lead the NFL in receiving yards to justify his arrival. He just needs to be healthy, decisive, and dangerous on the snaps that change games. If he forces a safety to lean toward his side, he's already opening room for the rest of the offense. If he wins on third down or pulls down a high ball at the goal line, that ranking disappears in the moment. ESPN captured all the uncertainty surrounding his age and injuries. Shanahan now gets to answer the most interesting part of that evaluation. How differently can Mike Evans be used? Maybe an honorable mention was exactly the fuel a competitor like Evans needed to bring into Santa Clara. Reputations can drop on a list. In the end zone, they get rebuilt in front of everybody. Training camp never hands out crowns. It strips away certainty. Prysock could shake up a competition that looked under control. Peppers represents the experience that could still arrive. Collins finally has enough help around him to turn pressure into production. And Mike Evans walks into Santa Clara with an entire ranking to challenge. Different stories, one demand. This roster must turn possibilities into answers before the season comes to collect. The faithful aren't looking for impressive names on paper. They're looking for players who can carry the weight of a Super Bowl run. If you want to follow every battle all the way through to the verdict, hit that like button and subscribe to 49 Ears Express. Camp is coming. Now nobody gets to hide.